and Lynda. Hey, we're Jim and Lynda Lloyd with Everyday Orlando. Thank you for clicking on our video here today.
Yeah, welcome. We want to share with you, we are just coming up on our 2-year anniversary of moving to Orlando, and we wanted to share with you some of our biggest regrets since moving.
Yeah.
Our number one regret, we didn't move sooner.
We didn't move sooner.
Ah.
I've wanted to live in Florida all my life, honestly. Didn't really ever think of it being a reality until right before the pandemic hit, I guess. And the more serious that we got, we kind of dragged it out a little. And as soon as we took the plunge and got here, within the first couple days, we were going, why didn't we do this sooner?
Yeah, you know, fear of the unknown kind of keeps us stuck and prevents us from, you know, being bold and making a big life decision like we made. But wow, I wish we had moved sooner. I wish we were here when we were younger.
Yeah, so if it's being something you're thinking about, if it's on your radar at all, don't let fear cripple you.
Yeah, don't let fear cripple you.
Yeah.
And you know, we this ties in well with point number 2, which is don't rent.
Yes.
We rented because, like a lot of people, we said, well, let's rent for a year and try to figure out like what area we like the best. And during that year, we spent let's see, about $28,000 in rent, and property values went up about 20% that year. And the house that was $200,000 then became something like $250,000 or $260,000. That $300,000 house became $380,000, $390,000.
You know, and this just kills us, because this is a common thing we hear from people. Oh, you know, we're just going to rent till we decide what we know, or we're just going to rent until we get to see what area we want to live in. That seems so reasonable. That's what we said. We thought to ourselves, oh, we know we want to be, you know, we knew the general vicinity that we wanted to live in, but we weren't 100% sure of what town. So let's just rent, and then we'll have a whole year to, you know, we signed a year lease. We'll figure out. We'll have a whole year to decide and really get a feel for the area. Well, guess what? Whether you decide to rent for a year or you're living there for a year, at least if you're buying, you have the chance to like the area and stay. But either way, if you don't like it, if it's not where you're deciding that you want to, you know, lay your roots or get settled, you have to
change your mindset to that of an investor.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of people, they operated out of this place of fear, like, oh, if I buy a place, then I'm stuck for a really long time.
Yeah, right.
But you're not, especially if you have the mindset of an investor. If you even think in your mind, where do I want to live? Maybe you buy a place in an Airbnb type of community that becomes your first investment house. Either you wind up staying there, or if you don't, you could sell it. It's not going to take long to sell a place in any of these developments or any of the areas around Orlando.
The property value will go up.
The property value will go up, and if you decide to keep it, you could use the equity from that house to buy the house that you want to raise your family in, the house that you want to live in, the more permanent place. And then you're also getting cash flow from this initial investment that you got. And if it's a short-term rental, you're probably making a pretty decent cash flow.
Yeah, that was definitely our biggest mistake. The place that we rented was in Kissimmee, 20 minutes from Disney, fit all of my criteria. I you know, before knowing the area, it could have been a perfect place where I could have thought we would have been set to live. But it was filled with Airbnbers. Every other week, you know, mind you, it was still pandemic. We had new people coming in and out, new renters every week. Every weekend, these investors, the people who owned those properties, were making money on that short-term rental. If we had bought the place instead of renting
it, yeah,
we would have been we would have never
had
sold
about
it.
$150,000 in equity right now for doing nothing but owning it.
So yes, please, even if you think you cannot, you don't qualify, or you think there's so many obstacles with being able to buy in a new area, if it's scary, please call us. If you have a question, put it in the comments. would love to. This was our biggest, if there's one thing that you can get out of this video, is nobody should be forced to rent while they know the area.
While they try to figure out what to do. And if you're on the fence and you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna move in 2 years or 4 years or 5 years. If you're gonna take a while to move, but you know you're coming, get a place, rent it out. Let somebody else pay down your mortgage while you're building equity as the property appreciates. And by the time you do move, you're gonna have that equity to play with.
Right.
You're gonna be more familiar with the area, and you're gonna have your own place to stay in when you come down to take a look as to where you really want to land.
Yep.
So that's all good. Another regret: we don't have our annual passes yet.
I know.
Disney.
I don't know what's taking us so long to get our annual passes. Well, no, I do know. I was working at Disney because why wouldn't I want to work at Disney when we first moved here? It's my favorite thing. So I was at Hollywood Studios as a cast member for a while, loved it. So we had no need to buy our annual passes for a while. But now that we are really focusing on real estate, we need to get our annual passes.
Yeah, we need to get our annual passes. It's right in the backyard. I mean, it does start to add up, though, right? Like, we had annual passes to Universal Orlando and to SeaWorld, and now to add on Disney annual passes, we're just, then we're starting to spend a lot of money on annual passes. So you do have to kind of use some budgeting and some maybe operate from the mind instead of the heart so much sometimes. But
in-state, keep in mind, in-state
Florida
residency for those annual passes
is really good.
Yeah, we need to get them.
For sure. I think another regret that I have, it's kind of tied in with not doing this sooner, but we have 5 kids, and our 2 older kids, I wish we were here so that they could have taken advantage of in-state college tuition.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that is one of the reasons that there is an age gap between our kids, and we were, if there was a time, anything that we could do for our kids, it would be take advantage of that in-state tuition. Live in Florida for a year before you can get it, and
honestly,
it's going to save our younger kids.
Because right now, the in-state tuition for a Florida resident at any one of the 12 Florida universities is just over $6,000 a year in tuition. $6,000.
Crazy.
That's redonk.
Yeah.
I think it was more than $6,000 to go to a New Jersey state school for a semester.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That's about a third of the tuition cost for New Jersey state school, and other places. And so, man, if we could have helped our kids save money, and quite honestly, I think that's one of the main drivers why we decided to have the courage to make the move, was to help our kids and set them up for their future better. Just being able to have access to housing and buy a house and go to college without being saddled with debt. Man, wow, that would be great.
Definitely.
And what's another regret that you have?
Well, I think it also goes down to I feel like it was insensitive of me to say our only regret was not moving sooner. Part of the reason I didn't move sooner was because of family. I didn't want to move away from our older 2 that were seeming to be settling, down and finish school and come back. But guess what?
They followed us. Yes.
So that's all good. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a regret that they didn't follow us sooner.
Exactly.
Reality is, a big regret that I have is that my golf game has improved, but it hasn't improved as much as I wish it would have. We have year-round golf in Orlando.
There are more golf courses per capita than in any other state in the country in Florida.
And it's very accessible.
And they're just beautiful. It's beautiful. One
of my favorite things is being a part of the Players Club at Walt Disney World's golf courses. They have 3 courses that are pretty awesome, and they're twilight rate, right? It starts at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You can do 18 holes with a cart for $15 per person. It's one of the best deals there is, and a very beautiful course. There's plenty of public courses. Because people come here on vacation, there are just a ton of golf courses with daily packages, daily rates. And so being able to live here all year round, golf. We golfed on Christmas, was it New Year's Day last year?
Yeah, New Year's
we
Day.
golfed on New Year's Day. Brought the whole family out. The girls rode along. They didn't want to golf. They wanted to, but they loved driving the carts. And so, yeah, I regret that I haven't gotten better so I could enjoy it even more than I have. Yeah.
I regret not having a pool. It was a compromise we made. Okay, this might be,
I don't regret that.
Our community, our neighborhood has a pool, so I do.
It has a great pool.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful
community
pool.
Pools in these,
And we don't have to take care of it.
And we don't have to take care of it.
I don't have to measure the chemicals. I don't have to skim it. I don't have to do anything.
It was something I gave. It was a compromise, one of my must-haves, and I still kind of miss having it. Just think through those things, because it is a pool. You can use a pool all year long. It gets hot all year, every day, and so I miss being able to take that real quick. It's just the convenience of walking out my door. We had it in that first year in that rental that we had, and I kind of miss it. So
yeah, I guess maybe similar to that, I regret that we don't have a boat.
oh, it's a good one. Yeah, there are so many lakes in Florida. I didn't realize how many lakes.
So many lakes, so many rivers.
And lake living is huge.
Lake living is huge. There's properties right on the lakes. There's water sports and fishing. Being able to take a lake out in the ocean and the Gulf and on the Atlantic coast.
Clear bottom kayaking.
I think it changes a lot of things. We met a couple recently who said, I can't imagine our life without a boat.
Yeah, they're right.
So I have FOMO now, and I'm adding that to my list of things to accomplish.
True.
So hopefully we'll get there one of these days.
True.
Related, speaking of water, I regret that we haven't spent more time going down the shore here.
Yeah.
Well, to the beach. Going down the shore is a Jersey thing, I guess, but I can't get it out of my system.
Jersey, shout out, yeah.
And, being in Central Florida, being in Orlando, we are right smack in the middle of the state. And so some of the world's best beaches are within 2 to 3 hours away. Mm-hmm. And we've gone to a lot of them.
Yes.
Where have we been? We've been to Sarasota, Anna Maria Island.
Siesta Key. Oh my gosh. It is rated #1 beach in the country for a reason. It's the white sand is like walking on a cloud. The water is clear. It is beautiful.
Beautiful.
And free.
We've been to New Smyrna Beach on the East Coast, on the Atlantic coast. We've been to Daytona Beach. We've been to Vero Beach. We didn't go on the beach in Melbourne Beach, but we drove through there and we really liked it.
Yeah.
West Palm Beach. And yet, like, I feel like we were just remarking to each other, it's 2 years and we really haven't gone to the beach much.
Yeah, we haven't spent many days.
I mean, we've maybe done 10 beach days in 2 years. So it seems like we've gone to a lot of places, but there's so much more for us to explore. Unbelievable amount of stuff for us to explore.
There's so much accessible that it's easy to get caught into your, everyday Orlando life and not realize how much you can take advantage of just while you're living in here. It usually when we were coming down to Florida, it would be to vacation, so we had this day and this day and this day. But since living here, that is a regret. We have to take more advantage of all that there is to do here.
Yeah, I think another thing is I took for granted. This is maybe a little bougie on our part, but where we came from in Bergen County in New Jersey, there was plenty of Trader Joe's and Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And it's very limited here. I know of 2 Trader Joe's, and neither one of them are very close to where we live in Claremont.
Yeah, Trader Joe's is challenging. Publix, there's an Aldi's.
There's plenty of grocery stores.
There's plenty of grocery.
I mean, Trader Joe's is pretty cool.
But to counter that, the farmers markets, we've talked about them before. We need to do a whole video on farmers markets.
Yeah.
You can go Winter Garden Farmers Market. My daughter, who is a huge Trader Joe's fan, does all of her shopping there. Really doesn't go anywhere else. Bought all of her her produce. They even had fresh eggs and chicken, like poultry and meat. It was unbelievable. unbelievable. The farmers market, who needs Trader Joe's?
Yeah, Trader Joe's, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I do miss Trader Joe's, yes.
Yeah. I think, the novelty of everything and moving, we probably spent too much money just, going around shopping, going to lots of different restaurants and checking things out.
Fun.
So, count the cost and understand. We understanding the reality of what different things cost in Florida. Car insurance is maybe a little bit more, but overall the cost of living to us is much less.
Much less, yeah.
And so, yeah, so that factors in.
Also, think about your move. I think that's another regret for us is we overspent on a moving company, and we didn't do as much research on our on the moving company that we had, and we had some trouble there. And so I would suggest either really reading those reviews, read those reviews for moving company, or decide what you really need, and whether it's going to cost you more to move your furniture and things, or
don't bring it. Get new when you get here.
Get new when you get here. Just weigh that price. We didn't really consider that too much. We just moved
a lot of places even sell fully furnished.
Yeah, there's a lot of fully furnished properties here. So that's just something
I think
to
with
about.
That, one quick shout out, one quick tip: when we moved our daughter and son-in-law, because there's so many people that move to Orlando and to Florida in general, the one way for a U-Haul or one way for any
Very
movers, they're raising their rates. We wound up renting trailers and driving them empty from Orlando back to New Jersey, and then filling them and driving it back down, and it was still way cheaper than the one-way trip.
Yep.
Which is hard to believe, but it was way cheaper and worked out, and takes a little more time. But also, I think if we didn't understand the whole moving process and movers as much, and and that's something that we can help you with now. But there's a whole industry of brokers who just they get you in with a low cost, and then they broker it out to a different company.
Right.
And so you really have to look at your estimates that you get and be very, very careful. I wound up counting every box and putting a number on it as it came off, and it turned out that their count was incorrect.
Right.
So they were trying to charge us for more than what we actually had.
Much more significant. So yeah, just read the reviews, do the research, and that is definitely something to think about.
Yeah. But you know what? Hey, in general, we don't really have it very much to regret about making our move to Florida.
No.
And we hope that you won't either. So if you're thinking of moving to Orlando, if you're thinking of joining us and spending every day, making every day magical, give us a call. You can reach me on my cell phone. It's 973-615-6881. You can get on our calendar. Call Lynda.
973-229-8695.
We'd love to show you around. We'd love to help you as you start your journey of discovery and you try to figure out what a good place is. We can help you narrow down those options even. So you're not trying to make a decision, and that can be very overwhelming with so many cool areas.
Yeah.
So follow us on Facebook. Go to our Facebook page at Everyday Orlando. Join our Facebook group, Everyday Orlando. Check out Lynda, who's just crushing it on TikTok and Instagram with at Magical Parks Lynda. I see Lynda showing me the exit here.
Thanks for watching.
Subscribe to our channel, and we hope to talk to you soon.